Oh, we're going live. No countdown?
What countdown? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're still live.
John has recently learned that in school, virtual school, how to count down 5 backwards to 1. Round of applause for John, everybody. Since nobody's talking, I guess I'll talk. Hey, everybody. Let's go.
I knew that was going to happen. That's why I didn't want to say anything.
He was quick on the trigger for that.
Is that why no one was saying anything? I thought you were going to intro this.
I was waiting for Chris to say something.
I didn't want to get interrupted by the countdown. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to So What I Miss, our weekly news show dedicated to all the headlines you guys should care about. Right now, we have my co-host, Pat. What's up, Pat? Down here.
What's going on, everybody?
And our panelist, Rob.
Hey, I'm not pretending to smoke a cigar like Pat, but what up?
And John, what's up, John?
Hi, folks.
Whoa, John. John got all Western on us for a second. Howdy, folks.
All right, well, let's start the show with my usual kind of box office thing. I say Shang-Chi continued its run at the top of the box office. It actually beat Black Widow as the fastest movie to hit $100 million this year. Pat, I think, has an image of
this is what I worked on in the
a great,
oh my God.
Great pictorial representation of what happened here. Was this just that much of a better movie than Black Widow, or do you think it was more of a timing thing?
Quick question before I put my 2 cents in. Is it faster 100 million domestic even over Fast 9?
Yes, yeah. Fastest of this year of any movie. But Black Widow held the record before. Yeah.
You hesitated.
Yeah. So your question is why?
Yeah, was it that much of a better movie, or is it more of a timing thing, you think?
Well, I think it's twofold. One, I think it's a better movie for sure. I think the word of mouth has definitely propelled it. I mean, if you look at the week-over-week losses, it was really nominal. It wasn't a huge drop-off. To Black Widow's defense, even though I don't like the movie very much, it did also debut on Disney Plus Premium. So that will cut into the box office. The numbers in the pandemic were easier during the Black Widow release. They're much more tougher than they are right now with Shang-Chi. But again, I think at the end of the day,
It's a lot of ers.
It's a much better story to earn that box office money.
Shang-Chi movie better.
Yeah,
I know.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I know Pat was planning on going to see it again. Did you end up seeing it again, Pat?
I did. I saw it a second time with my dad. Yeah.
Anything you notice? Any Easter eggs or anything like that you might have observations you took from that?
Well, a lot of the end scenes made a little more sense after watching it a second time, because a lot of the beginning stuff you kind of just glance right by the first time because you're just kind of sitting there enjoying the rest of it, right?
Yeah.
The second time you go back and you actually watch for some of the little stuff, you're like, okay, all right, I get it. Right? Again, I still don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but yeah, no, like watching it a second time, I mean, some of the problems we have with our reviewing still kind of persisted. Like whoever did the cinematography and choreography, or like whoever chose how dark it was a little dark at the end. And I think even on the second time, like it still looked kind of dark.
Yeah.
Like in terms of overall, just the atmosphere. But yeah, it was definitely worth watching a second time.
Yeah. Well, again, 45-day window, like Rob said, no digital option, and it is later, so people are a little bit more comfortable. A lot like everywhere else is kind of opened up. That small window that I guess Black Widow had originally was, I guess, maybe just a little too close. And 100%, this is unfortunately a better, or fortunately, I don't know how you want to take it, but this is overall a better movie for sure, I think, and it does lend itself to repeat viewings. Like Pat's watched it twice. I want to watch it again. Once you've seen Black Widow, that's pretty much it, right? Unless you want to watch a couple scenes of the characters together, but you wouldn't need to see it from beginning to end again. I don't know, Pat. I think you were most positive on it.
I'm irritated that I spent money on Black Widow. Put it that way. Like it's on my Disney Plus Premium. I could watch it anytime I want to, and I want to rip it out of my virtual library.
But, like the thing is, though, we're talking about box office, and I don't even think I think this entire argument or conversation is kind of flawed to begin with. Because, like, Rob, I know you don't like Black Widow, sure, but you would have still paid $15-$20 to watch it in theaters before knowing it was a bad movie. Right? And there's going to be a ton of people that are in that exact same position who might have went in and watched it and said this wasn't very good, but then by that time you've already gotten their money, right?
Yeah, but it's repeat business. Black Widow wouldn't have generated repeat. Sorry,
but realistically, how often does a movie get that many repeat views, right? Like, it's people saw multiple times. Shang-Chi people watched a couple of times, and I think a big part of that audience is actually the audience that the movie is kind of geared for, right? Like my dad wanted to see it because he felt like this movie kind of is something he would be interested in, whereas he wasn't interested in any other Marvel movie before.
But that's
right?
But see that is what differentiates it. So you have three different things on this over Black Widow. One is that you do have the repeat viewings. You probably have more often than you did with Black Widow. Two is you have the better word of mouth. The fact that it doesn't drop off and people are like, oh, really? It's a really good movie. Maybe I will go see it. Let's go see it, right? Because they're kind of on the fence, especially if they did drop their $35 on Black Widow virtually or in theaters. And then number three is that you have people like your dad who have zero interest in watching any other Marvel movie, but was interested in this character and in this portrayal. So that's right there. That's a recipe for, I mean, look, here's a what if. What if there was no pandemic? How much money would this movie have made? Do you know what I'm saying? Like
I think this movie would have still made more than Black Widow, but it wouldn't have been as big of a difference. That's what I'm trying to get at, is that inherently the conversation and the comparison is already kind of, it's not even to start, right? Sure. And I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like, box office wise, it's not a fair race, right? Because like Black Widow had that entire, because John and I, we saw Black Widow, but the two of us combined, we paid, and however many people we watched it with, $35 Disney Plus, and we're never going to do it again, right? But if we had gone to the theater, we would have gotten like 5 people, which would have basically doubled the amount of money we put into the movie, as opposed to the $35 one time, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is I understand that the movie did better than Black Widow, but I think it's also kind of unfair to say, oh, the movie made less money because it was bad, right? I think it's more fair to say the movie made less money because of everything going on, right? But I think this is why I kind of like, we're just jumping ahead. I'm kind of worried about the Venom movie because I actually don't think the Venom movie is going to do anywhere near as good as this, right? And then they're making this movie because, oh, it's going to, people are watching movies now. That's not true at all, right? Yeah. Now, a couple of weeks from now, when we discuss this movie versus Venom, I think that's a much better comparison, or it's a much more fair fight, right? Not like this poor schmuck getting punched in the gut.
Well, you made this picture, Pat, but anyway.
Yeah, I know. I did. With the money sign.
Well, yeah. One thing, too, is that, there's nothing coming out in terms of a wide release unless you think that Clint Eastwood movie, I think it's called Cry Mercy, is going to dethrone Shang-Chi until Venom comes out. So I think it's going to have probably 2 more weeks of maybe 20 to 15 mil to add to its total. And then I don't know about internationally. I haven't looked into that yet. But, look to see more Shang-Chi at the top for the next 2 weeks. Keeping with Marvel, for the next news story, we have on Monday, Marvel dropped its trailer for the latest Disney Plus television.
Robin Hood.
Okay, and that was Hawkeye. The trailer had some action, some comedy, and a whole lot of Christmas cheer. Now, John did a solo reaction already, so check that out for his thoughts and a little more in depth as well. But I guess I'll throw it to the other panelists who didn't get a chance to react. What did you guys think of the trailer? Is it something that looks very interesting to you?
Me? Oh, sure. I'll go.
Rob. We'll go down the column. We'll go down the column.
Okay, cool. You know what? My initial reaction was I'm glad it's only 6 episodes. It didn't hook me. I thought it was kind of chintzy. It reminded me of a Disney holiday. It reminded me of Jingle All the Way, to be honest with you.
Jingle All the Way is a masterpiece.
That's
No,
a good movie.
it's not.
That goes down.
It's not, and you're an idiot.
Is that the one with Turbo Man?
Yeah, it just. Listen, I'm a big fan of action movies being set at Christmas. The two greatest action movies being Lethal Weapon and Die Hard, both set at Christmas time. So I'm all for it. I enjoy that the juxtaposition of death and destruction with happiness and cheerfulness. But that being said, I don't know, man. This show, it just the trailer just didn't hook me. I'm gonna watch it. I'm hoping I'm wrong. There was one line that Hawkeye says, and I kind of giggled at, or whatever. But I never remember what it was. It wasn't that memorable. But I was like, But it just, I'll watch it. But I didn't. I don't have the jonesing I did with Loki trailer. How about that?
Yeah,
put that cookie down now.
There's no way.
That was a quick grab because that wasn't there before. John grabbed that quick.
What are you talking about? I had that ready. Jingle All the Way, all the time.
All right, Pat.
Every time.
Was it Haley?
I love Haley Steinfeld.
What do you think? I think this will be the other side of the coin, but and then we'll go for John for more of a level-headed view. But what's Pat say?
So let's just Rob talked about Loki. Loki had a good trailer, but the show was terrible. So let's assume that the trailer is the.
Hold on. No. You're right.
Yeah, right? So let's assume that Rob has a completely incorrect judgment of trailers, in which case this show would be great.
Yep, it's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, let me also just say, it feels like this show is based very loosely on the Matt Fraction run of Hawkeye back in like a couple years ago. And I know John liked that run, right? As a comic book guy, like even the Hawkeye symbol is taken from his run, like that Hawkeye title piece with the that Hawkeye symbolism is from that run. And Lucky the dog is in the trailer. So, I mean, the Matt Fraction run was kind of, we don't know what this is, but it ended up really good. So I am cautiously optimistic about this show. Cautiously optimistic. And plus,
it's great. It looks street level. Like I'm tired of all this over the top end of the world. Thanos is coming, Galactus is coming stuff. So I did definitely get Die Hard vibes. And how dare you shit on Jingle All the Way, Rob? You are a monster.
I don't understand how you got Die Hard vibes from this. Like that. Like you should actually be allowed to watch Die Hard.
Jeremy Renner is just a dude trying to get home for Christmas. Die Hard, he was just a dude trying to get back together with his wife, right? So it looks like he's going to get tangled up in some mess. So I really dig it. So
I think that there is supposed to. I think Echo is supposed to show up in this show at some point.
Yes, confirmed. Yeah,
Echo. Yeah, confirmed. Echo. So Echo is supposed to be in it. Carry on.
Also, Black Widow's sister, I think, is scheduled to join or cameo at some point. I would think.
Yeah. If you watch the end credits of Black Widow,
Is Haley Stanfield? Is she from Bumblebee movie?
Yes, she played Charlie in Bumblebee, and then she was also in Pitch Perfects 2 and 3.
What wouldn't know that? Okay, but Bumblebee she was good in. I thought she was really good in Bumblebee. Those other shows, I will leave you to that on your own.
Pitch Perfect, the world of underground a cappella singing, Rob?
Yeah,
You're not familiar with this?
There are so many underground a cappella fight stuff happening. The first rule of a cappella club is that you don't sing about it.
Still have this Anna Kendrick biography here, by the way.
All right.
Have you read that yet?
I guess I just had a question, I guess, about Hawkeye in general. It doesn't strike me as someone who'd be a very popular like comic book character. Do you think the return on the kind of his stock is kind of pretty good considering his popularity before he's been in every Avengers movie except for Infinity War. He's been in cameos. He's like kind of like a level hero right now. Do you think this is like a huge kind of, I don't know, like elevation of him just based on like this character?
I actually think his MCU standing is much higher than his comic book standing.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you get a show. He's in all the major Avengers movies, and like I think Jeremy Renner, when he first started as Hawkeye, I don't think he was A-lister. Now I think probably A-lister, right? You think this is like
Yeah. Everyone went to see Tag because
would
he was
you call Jeremy Renner an A-lister now?
like outkicking his coverage? I guess is what I'm saying. Has Hawkeye as a character outkicked his coverage with this MCU run?
I think he was an A-lister. I don't think his inclusion in the MCU has helped further his career. How's that? I think
it's definitely made Hawkeye more popular.
It's put some money in his pocket, but I don't think it's helped him further that career. Maybe it has made Hawkeye more popular as a character, but it has been a running joke in the MCU. Why do we have Hawkeye? In so much as that they went kind of meta and joked about that in Age of Ultron. So, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I think he said it. Yeah, he said it. Yeah, he was like, "We're fighting androids, and I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense," kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's very meta. All right, before we move on, Pat, what's your favorite Haley Steinfeld song?
Ooh. Oh, I actually don't. I'm not
you have one off the top.
Where's Skeletor when you need him?
What? I'll get it for you. Just kidding. No. We're not going to talk about that. No,
all right. In that case, okay, none. So none. Moving on. We'll go into the Pat segment. Pat, pictures with Pat. What's up with that?
Okay, so what did we pick up over the weekend? Over this week? Well,
you got syphilis.
I got. Well, no, it wasn't syphilis. It wasn't syphilis. I had allergies, but I know. Okay, so shut up. So October's coming up, Halloween's coming up, and you're 20 seconds late on that, John.
That wasn't me.
Was that Chris? Anyway,
that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Stuff that you can see over this week.
Yeah,
Halloween coming up. The people at Among Us made official Among Us costumes. So if anybody wants to go trick or treating in the world of COVID, buy yourself one of these.
Can I point something out, Pat?
Yes.
You actually will not be able to go trick or treating with these costumes because they don't have arms in which to hold your candy.
Looks like a huge fire hazard.
Maybe it's a backpack. You just turn around and they put the candy in the backpack. How about that?
You can pretend, or you can go with somebody holding the basket of candy for you.
That seems, if somebody trips you, you have nothing to. You're just dropping. You have nothing to protect yourself.
You're taking away from the magic that is Among Us and Halloween costumes. Okay, you're talking about the nitty gritty. How do you know there's no hole in the back for you to stick your hand out so you can get candy? You don't.
You have to stick your hand out in the back.
Yeah. How do you know there's no hole in the back so you can stick your hand out and be like trick or treat? It doesn't matter, Rob. These are sold out.
These don't even look right. They're not even like, the mask is blue. Clearly, you can see in the little thumbnail. It's like it doesn't even look right.
What? No, but okay. Anyways, Halloween costumes for Among Us. Next, you guys are killing me. You guys are absolutely killing me. Now, Rob, these are just for you. In case you didn't see, Razer, the official video game computer game peripheral company, had made these finger grips for your mobile gaming needs. So if you're playing Fortnite on your phone, you can now use these insanely great polyethylene thumb tips. And Rob, if you want to use them for something else, that is completely up to you.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Right.
All right?
So how much are these things? You said it's a Razer product. How much are they charging for the leftover tips of their fingerless gloves? Like,
they want to leave fingerprints on your devices, man.
Do they come in different sizes? Like,
they're expensive, I think. Did you look at the website, Pat?
I did not go on the official website because it just looked ridiculous.
Well, it says that there's victory for at your fingertips. So, you know. Okay, I'm gonna see. There's not you just have to buy it. Oh, okay, $10.
Yeah.
You said it like that's okay. Rob said it like $10. That's exactly what I would value these at.
It's $10 for one.
So you showed up
that
on
guy's
Shark
got
Tank with these
$40.
things,
Wow.
would they give you $1 million evaluation on your company?
You know what it is? I bet you it's the people they have proper gloves, and then there are lots of people who like to have the finger cut out of their gloves, and they took those off, and Razer just said, "Can we just put our logo on these disused pieces of cloth?" And they said, "Yeah, sure." We said, "Good, we'll give you $1 for it." And now they're selling them for $10 a pop.
But
Like,
then what happens to the other 3 fingers? What do they do with the other 3 fingertips?
well,
you don't need them for mobile gaming, John.
There's a lost market, so
Yeah, but
anyone who
don't-
wants
yeah,
to
but they're
scoop up
just-
those other 3.
I think it's one size fits all. You put it on, you just roll it down on whatever appendage you need to cover up.
Okay, next.
Okay, that's enough of this topic. Let's
All right, next. Oh man. So McFarlane revealed that they're doing a bunch of Princess Bride toys. So I know you guys are old, so you guys probably love this movie, but I have to admit I never saw the movie in full.
I'm gonna punch you in the head. But continue
How
with your
dare
story.
you not see Princess Bride?
Oh, I thought you were going to
inconceivable.
old. I've never seen it in full. I've seen clips of it, but I hear it's a good movie.
Yes, it is very good. Can I ask a question though? I mean, aside from these, I gotta say that Andre the Giant looks like Shrek without green makeup on. But what is happening with McFarlane Toys? They seem to really be branching out to a whole different. They have the DC stuff. They're going the gaming stuff. Like they're the pop culture references, the horror. So like they're really going for the full gamut. Is it too?
You killed my father.
You got that prepared just now too.
Is it too much, or are they diversifying themselves too much, or do you think that it's actually hitting a niche market that would want figures? Like as much as I listen, I'm gonna say I quite enjoy the Princess Bride, but I have zero interest in owning any of these figures. But that's just me.
Yeah, but there's probably like a subset of of toy collectors who've been waiting for this for the longest time.
I would honestly like to talk with them. I just want to know if that's true or not.
I want to see the list. I want to see the list.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's a guy named Gary in Indiana. He says that he'd like to have an Inigo Montoya. All right.
No, for sure, though. Like the thing about McFarlane Toys is that they started only doing the Batman stuff, but you're right, they're doing everything. They're doing some Avatar toys later, right? It's like they're picking up the licenses for stuff that people quote unquote want that Hasbro doesn't already have. That's what it looks like they're doing.
So what's
Right.
the run on this? Are they doing? Is it limited edition? Like they're only doing like 1,000 pieces, like per.
That's probably a better question for John. I don't think any McFarlane toys ever limited.
They don't tell us that.
Yeah, even if
Well,
they
no,
do,
but I just didn't know when you have like a very niche license like this, if they're like, hey, we're only doing a run of like 2,000 and that's it. Like I just didn't know.
Like, I mean, I don't think McFarlane would be considered a specialty toy maker. So if they're not specialty, they would be readily available, right? Like I think some of the other toy producers like need to
his formula. He makes a lot. He doesn't produce on a lower scale like a Super 7 or some of these niche companies. He is a mass market toy producer. So I think he's trying to copy Funko's formula and maybe see if he can start nailing like because he did Dune figures as well and things like that. So a lot of these might be reused parts and stuff like that. So he's probably just trying to maximize his mold usage for these figures or something like that. But yeah.
But then why
this is a stretch.
Why did his Spawn reissue though go Kickstarter? Like, if that's the case, how come he did a Kickstarter for the reimagining of his first Spawn?
Basically, if you participated in that Kickstarter, the figures weren't super expensive, but what you could get is his autograph. So I think he was kind of in a little way selling his autograph. The figures produced for that Kickstarter are actually not as action figure-y as these action figures, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
They're more of
they don't have as much articulation.
Yeah. They're a little bit more designer influence, like kind of like the design, the look of it. And it came with they would come with comics and resealable packaging. So it could have literally just been an experiment for him to try and produce and see if he could make what you're talking about, which is a more limited production run thing. Whereas normally he just cranks stuff out. Like every major market is carrying them.
If I remember this correctly, he did his Kickstarter even before the beginning of his brand, of his like current Batman stuff, right? So it wouldn't surprise me if his entire intention was to test those waters, right? And like John Yo said, like that spawn was super limited, but it was basically a Kickstarter, right? And I feel like McFarlane has done that recently. I mean, even with comic books, with his new King Spawn book, right? He's purposely selling his signature.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like it's happening right now.
So did you guys ever see the movie No Country for Old Men, where Javier Bardem played Shigar? That's what Andre the Giant looks like. He looks like a very bloated version of Javier Bardem. All right, that's it. I'm done. That was my joke.
Right, cool. Last thing I wanted to show everybody, and we talked about this previously, but we didn't officially mention it. It's Captain Krakoa.
I was waiting for this. Why did you use this photo? There's a much better one that was in our chat.
One. I used the cover art. I used the cover art for the official like issue 21 or 23 or whatever it was.
Is this by Hickman?
The book itself?
Yeah.
That issue? I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure he's off.
Okay, because I can't imagine Hickman doing Captain Krakoa.
Pardon?
I can't imagine Hickman coming up with Captain Krakoa.
Sure he can. Why not?
I think it looks absolutely ridiculous.
I actually also think Hickman's run is coming to an end. A couple of months ago, we talked about Inferno, and if you actually kept up with the X-Men comic, it feels like we're getting close to the point where we're going to be switching back to like classic superhero comics very, very shortly, by the way. So all that Hickman stuff, I feel like it's on its way out. So maybe this.
It's like he's got a toy crab on his head.
Yeah.
It was like Namor's not silly enough to compete with Aquaman, so let's come up with something else.
Yeah, obviously. What's going on? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Oh. Yeah, no, I think I don't actually think this is a Hickman design, but whatever. But that kind of wraps up all the stuff I have to show you or what I saw on the internet. Hello, Sarah, who's driving in Jasper, Alberta.
Wow.
Why do you guys keep going to Alberta when it's in lockdown? I don't understand. Hey, Gord, you know what we should do? Let's take a trip to Syria. I heard that's great this time of year. I don't get it. Why are you guys always going to these places that are not?
That's where the party's at.
Advisory.
Don't tell her how to live.
Thank you, Patrick.
She missed the Razer finger sleeve thingies or whatever.
I'm sure she'll see the finger rubs. She'll see those. Yeah.
Give her a couple seconds and she'll come up with some.
Ribbed for my Switch's pleasure.
All right, guys.
Okay,
thanks, Pat. I don't know how to recover.
We completely derailed that conversation, by the way. So carry on, Chris.
All right, time for news bits. Let's go with this intro. John.
Here's a little news flash.
John stacked me up a bunch of intros for that. Let's try that one for this week. Okay, so you watched Shang-Chi and you watched Shang-Chi and you binged all of Kim's Convenience and you want more Simu Liu. Guess what? You got some more coming soon. He's going to star in a animated movie called Bright Samurai Soul, which comes out October 12th. This is a direct spin-off or a prequel, I guess, to the 2017 film Bright, which had Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, I think directed by one of John's favorite directors, which was David Ayer. It's an anime version, anime prequel.
Really?
Simu Liu actually is the main character.
Really, what?
This was created, apparently.
Well, they were supposed to do an actual proper film sequel to Bright, and so this is the first I've heard about anything tied to that movie. I figured that. Yeah. All right.
All right. Next bit is, I don't even know if this is really news, but I think people kind of already knew it. But Eternals will be Disney confirmed that Eternals will actually going to be exclusively in theaters with the whole 45-day window, much like Shang-Chi.
Nice font choice, Pat.
Nice what? Nice font choice.
Font choice. What's in the little teeny tiny print?
It was much too small, but I already locked it in, so I couldn't change it. It says only for 45 days.
Okay. Thanks, Pat.
Asterisk 45 days.
So yeah, if you can't do the math, it'll be on Disney Plus December 20th.
Yeah, but you know what? The question will be: is it Disney Plus or Disney Plus Premier Access?
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
This is a movie you should compare with Shang-Chi, by the way.
Yeah, makes sense.
Carry on.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Falcon / Captain America himself, Anthony Mackie, will be starring in a Twisted Metal movie, live action movie based on the original playset. Me and John got a lot of playtime out of this game. It was kind of like Mario Kart, but in like
Twisted Metal 2. We used to play till like 2-3 a.m. on a regular basis. And even us with that background gotta go with Skeletor here. What?
This is the thing, apparently.
Is he gonna play Sweet Tooth or is he gonna play anybody else?
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, I don't even remember.
The guy
is there a different character that you like better than Sweet Tooth?
Yes, the guy that was in between the wheels. His name was
the
Axel.
guy.
Oh
Axel.
yeah, the guy who was part of. Yeah, that guy was.
So he's an Axel.
Well, listen, I didn't name it. I didn't name the game. I didn't name the characters. The guy that made Twisted Metal did.
Hey, to quote our fellow Canadian Norm Macdonald, that's box office poison.
It's a video game.
Norm Macdonald.
Yeah, I guess fine. Yeah.
All right, next bit of news. It was there all along. Nintendo dropped a software update that added a very much desired feature. Bluetooth audio is now supported on the Nintendo Switch. So, and they didn't really advertise that or announce that, or I guess they announced it, but they didn't really kind of say anything about that. So go update your Switch, and you should see in the settings now that you got Bluetooth audio. Microphone support, or microphone's still not supported though. However.
Great.
Weird.
All right.
The thing with Nintendo is that they always do that. They always make things like a step behind. So when they finally give you the stuff you expect, you're like, oh, thanks, Nintendo.
Hey, look at our really cool rad Pro controller that can match up to the PS4 and the Xbox One controller. Wicked. Where do I plug in my headset?
You don't.
Oh, you don't want to chat with anybody, do you? Just play games.
sorry, didn't think of that.
Yeah.
And this is coming from somebody who loves Nintendo shit, right? Like the fact they do this all the time. They give you technology that is like somewhat proprietary, but like 8 months, a year behind what everybody else is using. And then when they finally release it, you're kind of like, oh, thanks, Nintendo. I love you. Buy more stuff. Anyway.
All right, next bit of news. Triplets, the long-awaited sequel to 1988's Twins, starring Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger, is getting a sequel. Almost 30 years later, or more than 30 years later, and they've cast it as the long-lost third brother or triplet, Tracy Morgan. Has been casted for this. Production begins early next year. Apparently, Eddie Murphy was originally slated to be this character, but and he originally had a huge part in conceiving the idea for this, but he was apparently too busy, so they got Tracy Morgan.
It's weird because I think the Coming to America 2, the idea was that Tracy Morgan was going to be his son, and they're like, you guys are way too close in age, so they scrapped that. So I guess maybe Eddie Murphy was like, let me throw him at Twins. But I remember Eddie Murphy was attached to this for so long.
Yeah, so it's going to be called Triplets, and I guess they're bringing back Arnold and Dan DeVito. So
that's dumb.
I'll still watch it because that first movie is amazing.
As the person who made this screen, I think this tells you everything I feel about this.
Why? Yeah.
You know, we're in an interesting time. I think we're in the middle of an interesting period in entertainment where the nostalgia factor has overridden logic. And so people are like, oh, you like this? Then we're gonna give you an updated take. You liked Full House? We're gonna give you an updated version called Fuller House with some of the cast. And because you like that, we're gonna give you a new Punky Brewster. We're canceling Punky Brewster. Like, I just think that it's really easy for them to mine these old IP things and go back to the 80s and 90s and say, hey guys, look at all this cool shit, and we're going to give it back to you. But it's not
trying to for a long time, because Twins, I think, is one of Arnold's most profitable movies, because he took a kickback instead of taking a paycheck for it or something like that. But Rob, you're forgetting something.
If they
And the first rule in a crisis situation
is to make Twins 2.
but if they can't turn that project around within a few years, then it loses any relevance.
Oh yeah, it's got to come out yesterday.
Well, who cares? At this point, they're like 70 and 80. What's the point of finding your long lost brother at that point? Are you all meeting up at a funeral? Like, what's happening? Like,
let me just say, Fuller House was very good, the first season at least. So you shut your mouth, Rob.
I actually did watch it because my kids were fans of
John
watching
Stamos.
it. So yeah, not for that. My daughter was like, "I like Uncle Jesse, but screw that basketball show."
It's renewed, you son of a bitch.
That show was not a slam dunk. Carry on.
Yeah, there's a lot of old properties coming back too. Like someone mentioned, Jesse mentions in the comments, Fresh Prince. I just saw Doogie Howser got remade.
Yeah, it is. It's a whole new character and stuff like that. Yeah, Jesse's right. Fresh Prince. The Wonder Years. The Wonder Years have been reimagined. Again, they're mining all of this old IP.
Yeah.
And I just think that you're casting such a wide. Be smart.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this shit is gonna fall to the wayside. Like I'm 45, so for me, like the 80s and 90s I hold dear, and a lot of this stuff I'm like, oh, this is great, but then I also have no interest in it sullying the original idea.
Any worries about Ghostbusters Afterlife or Top Gun Maverick then in that case?
Top Gun Maverick?
They're both going to be great.
Looks wicked.
Keep throwing stuff out, because we might get another Cobra Kai, because Cobra Kai has no business being as good as it is.
Well,
what show then would you want to have a Cobra Kai?
Street Sharks.
Shut up.
Mask.
Pro Stars with
Pro Stars. There you go.
Jackson.
You could run a Pro
Hulk Hogan's Rock and Roll Wrestling.
All right, next topic here. Everyone's favorite alternate timeline Captain America, Haley Atwell, was cast as Lara Croft in an anime version or anime TV series based on the video game Tomb Raider. So another anime version of something to match, I guess, Bright.
All right,
Captain Carter, Tomb Raider.
Yeah, cool. Good job taking literally two things off the internet and putting them next to each other.
Wait, you know what? You do them next week. Next week, I'll sit there and just be annoying.
No. Hey, that's copywritten.
In order for me to do that, I gotta go buy a shell necklace though. So get back.
All right, my last bit of news. HBO is developing the Batman, or based on the Batman movie spinoff, or the new one that's coming out with Robert Pattinson. They're going to do a spinoff show about the Penguin. And it will presumably star Colin Farrell as the main star, although he hasn't officially signed on yet. But I guess you would have to use him, right?
I think you need him. Do you not?
Yeah, I've heard he has a really small part. First of all, if you've seen pictures of it, he's completely unrecognizable as Colin. You couldn't guess in a million years that was Colin Farrell. And then also, he did say that he has a really small part in the movie, so maybe. This is kind of outlining maybe a prequel or something like that.
I saw something saying that it was going to be like Scarface-like. So I don't know if that appeals to you, Rob.
You think HBO Max is going to be successful? They're kind of building out their, we're getting kind of news on them building out this TV division kind of. You think it's going to be successful as Marvel's play on Disney Plus?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I don't know if this is something that we could actually answer in today's show, because I think it needs to act almost like a whole full episode unto itself. But I will say that I agree with you. The amount of shows and movies that they are putting into production strictly for HBO Max through the DC properties are huge. They've got more of these shows and movies just for HBO Max in production than Disney has, or for Marvel has, for their Disney Plus. Platform.
Is it this guy, by the way?
Yeah,
that's Colin Farrell.
Like, I mean, as the Penguin, I mean. Carry on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unrecognizable.
that's
Yeah.
Tony Montoya.
So yeah, there's been a bunch of us, like Blue Beetle, I think was one, and then also
Blue Beetle, Batgirl.
Batgirl, yeah.
Right. You've got this one. You've got the James Gordon one for HBO Max. You've got there's a whole, I can't remember the other ones. Like, there's tons of them, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see. Oh, the Green Lantern Corps. That's like the big one, right? The Green Lantern Corps. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these do stack up. I think they will be darker. They will be more adult oriented than what we're getting with Marvel's Disney Plus. So that will be interesting to see. I don't think it'll be as grown up, quote unquote, as The Watchmen that HBO had, but I think it will be just a couple of digits down from that in terms of its maturity.
Yeah. Peacemaker. That was the other one. Peacemaker.
What was that, Pat?
I'm so done with James Corden. I used to think he was funny.
Where did he come from? Is it because he's white and I'm white? What are we doing?
Oh no, it's not
James
because
British Rob? What?
Guys, I just wanted to say, when I saw him in that Cinderella movie, I wanted to shoot myself.
You watched that thing? Come on, Pat.
I saw it in John's
You
house.
know he watched it.
You did watch Pitch Perfect and Pitch Perfect too, so yeah.
Let me just say, that's like, that guy just needs to go, man. Like, anyways, carry on.
I feel like he had one good bit, which was the carpool
Carpool
karaoke, and he
karaoke.
milked the
Carpool
crap out of that.
karaoke
And now
is funny.
I don't even watch those when I see them now.
Well,
Yeah.
what happened is he's like,
It went to Apple. It went exclusive to Apple for a second, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
He
were
must
like
have got paid off for that.
trying to get you to pay for it. Yeah.
like he was in Cats. He was in Cinder. Like, oh man.
Oh,
He's also
Did anyone
isn't he
watch
also
that?
the voice of Peter Rabbit?
Oh yeah, probably. I don't know. I didn't watch Peter Rabbit. It's a kids movie.
You do. It seems like you
Okay.
do consume a lot of James Corden properties. Matt.
Yeah.
More so than
He's right in your
ever.
wheelhouse. Was he not in Pitch Perfect? The world of underground,
Acapella dueling. Acapella dueling.
All right, James Corden portion over. That's all I have for the news. Let's go into weekend end.
Rob just needs to work on the accent. He needs the
Yeah,
fake
It's the
accent.
British version of Rob.
I can do it. Don't worry.
Exactly.
Let's go to
Australian, not British.
What?
say what?
That sounded Australian, not British.
No.
Crikey, I can't do it. Carry on.
All right, completely off the rails here. Weekend or just general recommendations. What do you guys got? Anyone got anything coming this week? Rob, you always got stuff up. What's going on?
Rob's gonna burn 4 hours again.
Andre's cringing somewhere, dude.
This is Andre's copy. He left it. Yeah, so that came out this week. So actually, you know what? I've got a lot of things to watch for this weekend. I have 3 episodes of Why the Last Man because that just came out on FX Canada. If you have FX Canada, you can actually download the first 3 episodes right now. They all came out there on Monday night. They're premiering every Monday as well. I guess I'm going to segue into what is happening for Monday's Psychic Show because we are Johnless. However, myself and Stu is making another appearance. We are going to review Heat, the 1995 Michael Mann movie with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and that is currently streaming on Amazon Prime for those who want to check it out. So that will be Monday. So I've got a lot of things on the go to be Stu alert to be watching this weekend. So yeah, I got a fair amount. There's nothing really new going on, right? So aside from Why the Last Man. So yeah.
Pat, what do you got?
I'm actually gonna try and watch Justice League again. No, put that down.
No.
let me just ask: how long is there any like uncut scenes from the DVD that didn't
I
make
can't
me?
imagine he left something on the cutting floor.
I just want to make sure. Like it's like
It's
watch
2 discs.
like this. The DVD version is 5 hours.
There's 4 more songs when the Icelandic girls are singing to.
It's a whole
album. They do a whole concert.
Yeah, it's a whole concert
of Icelandic people singing to the praises of Aquaman.
That's right. And actually, there's a scratch and sniff. You can smell his sweater while you're watching.
It was 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
It was 4 hours, man. Crazy.
Sorry, was that a question, or are you just making a blanket statement?
No, I was equating to how many times you would have had to flip a laser disc if this came back in the day.
Or how many VHSs, John? Yeah. Back in the old day at the video store.
If you set it to the lowest quality, you can get 6 hours on a tape.
Yeah, but
it sounded like trash.
When you get it from the video store, this would have been definitely 2, maybe 3. Braveheart was 2, and that was only a 3-hour movie. So,
anyways, what's happening this weekend? I'm gonna try and open some Magic packs. Magic the Gathering. There's a new Magic set that just came out, or is coming out this Friday. So, I'm gonna spend this weekend nerding out on Magic cards, or apparently watching Lower Deck Season 2.
What about you, John?
Yeah, big proponent of Lower Deck Season 2. Lewis is a big fan. I've watched a couple episodes. It's actually fun. I think Chris watched some too as well.
Yeah,
it's a fun show that you can just pop on. So what if we all were going to watch What If? What if?
Episode... The show was called What If?
Yeah, episode 6, I think it was the Killmonger episode. So if you haven't watched that, definitely watch that. I've got to watch the Rick and Morty finale again because bam, like what just happened? And He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, the new Netflix series, just dropped. And I am loving it. I think it's a lot of fun. If you're a fan of Troll Hunters, Clone Wars, or Rebels, and you're okay with them kind of like reimagining stuff for, the 21st century or whatever.
I get flack for watching Pitch Perfect, but nobody lets John go on watting that basketball show and like Troll Hunters.
We were always putting him on the basketball show.
I feel like it's
disproportionate. That's the word you're trying to say. Listen, we always nut on John for watching that stupid John Stamos show every week.
It's a great show.
But at least it's a sports
maybe a bit of a stretch. Okay, Ted Lasso is a great show.
Yeah.
Big Shot is a fun family show that parents of girls would appreciate. So I'm surprised you haven't given it a shot, Rob. Yeah, shout out to Fortnite. Rob bailed on us, but a couple of us guys got in some games.
I was tired.
Oh Jesus! Like on prom night?
Oh jeez.
That's you didn't even do that correctly, John.
I don't know how the prom night joke structure works.
You didn't insert it correctly, just like prom night.
There you go. Okay. We need the drum rip, the ba-dum-bum ching. That'll be the next clip I'll grab.
Pat, I respect you in your choices. I just question Pitch Perfect. But John, going back to He-Man,
if I had a paper cup here, we could start doing the song, and Pat would.
Okay.
Anyways,
so that's you're watching He-Man. Awesome. And Chris, what are you doing?
I just started watching a show. So you
doesn't matter. Anyways,
it doesn't matter what.
That's another clip we need.
Yeah.
The Rock, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, sorry, Chris. What are you doing?
All right, I'm gonna be careful. Anyways, I just started watching a show from FX called
That Doesn't Matter. No,
What We Do in the Shadows. Good show. Really funny.
Okay.
Based on the
movie.
I thought it would be a retread of the movie, which I really liked, and it's completely different, and it's really funny. So I started watching it, and then on Wednesday, I think Star Wars Visions comes out, which is like an anime anthology of all the reimagining of kind of these Star Wars properties in anime. So I want to check that out too. So that's what I got.
Cool.
All right, guys. Rob covered what was happening in Sidekick Show. Any news on what will be happening on Sunday?
Oh, hang on. Yes, before
oh no, I'm in the shot. I gotta get out of the shot. There's your screenshot, John.
No worry, we'll have that T-shirt coming out.
We
soon.
need a shell necklace.
Yeah. So on Sunday for the main Heroes World podcast show, John, Stu, Andre, and myself, we are reviewing What If episode 6, which is What If Killmonger saved Tony Stark. And then we're also, Jonathan, I believe, asked, or it might have been Lewis, asked if we are going to be talking about Why the Last Man. Yes, we are reviewing episode 1 of Why the Last Man. So that will be dropping Sunday evening. Sorry, John. But yeah, you can check us out there, and you'll get all of our thoughts on those 2 properties.
Okay, great. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, everybody. Roll the outro if you could, John. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Thanks, Chad. Thanks, everybody.
Who's Chad?
Chad.
Oh God.
You said Chad.
It's one of the guys.